Welcome back. Well, he is the founding member of one of rock's most iconic groups, the Grateful Dead, and he is in Toronto today for a very special event tonight at the Carlu, sponsored by the Canadian Friends of Hebrew University. Bob Weir joins us now in studio. Such a pleasure to have you, and this is really a great honor, Mr. Weir. So first off, you are part of the fabric of American music, American culture, subculture. We'll talk about music, but first off, I want to start with why you're here. It's for the Einstein Gala, which is all about science, technology, and innovation. Why did you want to be part of it?
Well, I'm part of an effort, they call it STEM, science, technology, education, math, or something like that, and I'm trying to make it into STEAM and put A for arts in there, because I think they're part of the same creative, it's the creative spark that we're looking to identify and encourage in people around the world.
And how did you first get interested in biology and sciences? I hear there's an interesting story involving your mother here.
You can't not be interested. If you're curious, you can't not be interested in all that kind of stuff. And so, and connecting it all up, all the science and the art that I've put together in my life, it all seems part of the same package.
What do you think about the music industry these days? Because certainly a lot of science and technology is being used. You go on YouTube, everyone's an artist these days. Do you think it's a good thing or not?
If you're learning to express yourself, that's a great thing. I encourage my kids, for instance, to be visually oriented and use their cameras on their phones and get into the editing aspect of the technology and learn to tell a story, find the story and learn to tell it. And and they're getting good at it.
We're looking at you on stage right now. I want you to, let's talk about music now. I want you to take me back to the very beginning, Palo Alto, California. When you walked into that music store, tell me about the beginnings of the Grateful Dead.
Well, it was New Year's Eve of 1963, 64, I think it was. Yeah. And I was with a couple of friends. We were walking the back streets of Palo Alto. There was going to be a little hoedown. We were folkies back then. And there was going to be one of those little folky hoedowns. I think they called them hootenannies. At a coffee house, but it didn't start till later. We couldn't get in till 8 or 9 or something like that. And so we were just walking around, killing time, and we were walking in a back alley by the back of a music store, and we heard banjo music coming out. And we knew who it was immediately because he was sort of a local hero in the folk scene, Jerry. And so we just, I knocked on the door, and he opened the door, and he was waiting for his students. And I apprised him that, hey, it's 7:30 on a New Year's Eve, and I'm not entirely sure they're going to be coming. And he allowed us that might be right, and I said, well, come on in. We talked a little bit, and then he said, you guys play or anything like that? And we said, yeah. And so he had the keys to the front of the shop, so we went and grabbed some instruments and kicked some tunes around, and had a lot of fun. More fun than we could just walk away from.
And I know you said in an interview I was watching last night with Dhanraj, you knocked on that door and you had no idea how far the wind would carry you.
Well,
looking back now, I mean, it is quite something what the Grateful Dead have done.
So I'm told. It's like looking at your face in the mirror in the morning. You have no idea what you look like. You can see the features, but you've been seeing that forever. So, it's hard to be objective about it.
So at 68, you're touring right now with John Mayer and Dead & Company. Clearly, love doing this.
Yeah.
It's a pretty rigorous schedule, too. I was looking at it on the website. Is there a point where you're going to put down the guitar, or no? It's just in your veins, in your blood?
Well, there's a long tail in the telling, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Back in the early or mid 80s, I went to a posh club in San Francisco to see Count Basie. And he and his band were wonderful. They were just excellent. And, you know, they swung like angels. And, you know, I was electrified. And then a couple of, well, that was the last gig on that tour for him. You know, they packed up. He went home to Florida, where he lives, put his feet up and checked out. And that rung a bell with me. You know, I've got nothing better to do. Touring, yeah, he was touring to the end. My old friend Johnny Johnson, the guy who invented rock and roll, basically, piano player. Chuck Berry joined the Johnny Johnson band, and together they invented rock and roll. Or at least they were a huge part of that. And it was Johnny's playing that was actually the seminal playing for rock and roll. Shuffle against straight. It's if you understand music, it was something that no one had done, and it created a rhythmic feel that mathematically imprecise, impossible, in fact, and but still it swung. It had a feel to it, and he was playing up until the end. He played with me for a couple of years. What else am I going to do? I keep discovering new stuff as I go on, and that's immensely rewarding.